Good evening. You're still muted.
Now I should have it.
There you go. How are you?
I'm great. I've been to Hemingway today.
Hemingway. Well, that's
6
not.
hours. Let's see, 6.5 hours round trip.
I was gonna say that's a fur piece.
It's up past Orangeburg,
Mm-hmm.
but I have two more on Wednesday, North Charleston and Mount Pleasant, and then I'm finished with all 14 of them.
Well, that's good.
I've done some miles.
Yeah, you have. Yes, you
There's
have.
Dr. Hamilton. I met one of hers today.
Who'd you meet?
Dr. Myers or Hagler, depending.
Teresa Myers?
Yeah.
She's good.
Yep. Do you know
That's
she has her
good.
doctorate?
I thought it was Chaitra Bridges that had her doctorate.
I've met a couple of them. She has her doctorate in psychology, educational psychology.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Dr. Lamb, I'm up your way right now. I'm in Shelby.
You in Shelby? Well, I just left Bowling Springs and headed out to Lake Lure.
Cold and rainy.
Yes,
Hey,
indeed.
Robin, would you go see my grandkids? They're just right down the street from you, I bet.
Yes.
They're on Forest Hills Drive.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can't get up there now that I can't drive.
Oh, boy.
Hey Dale, it's Steve. I'm gonna be joining you by phone, so
All right. All right. I'm
gonna mute myself so I don't have feedback.
All right.
We're gonna
Okay.
miss seeing your face.
Yes.
I know
Said-
you're lying now.
Said nobody to me ever. Yeah, I've
Danny,
got
how
a
you
face for
feeling?
radio.
You know
Danny,
better,
how you
Santa
feeling?
Claus.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right.
Now, I'm just going to follow up on visits, see how that's going with everybody. Everybody gets joined us here, but I've got, let's see, show the grid here. Let me, guess we can stop share here and I'll show the grid. Yeah, I'm hoping everybody's about got their visits done. I know it's been a little difficult with the weather. It always is in the spring, though, when you're still in the winter. But
Fall for me.
yeah, but it's. I had some really good visits. They were all pretty much legacies in terms of we'd had students there before or word of mouth. We didn't. KTA didn't do a lot of recruiting this time. I guess it's a whole thing, but they're going to try to hit South Carolina a lot harder. They didn't do South Carolina at all pretty much for the spring, and that's why our numbers are way down, and they did very little in North Carolina.
Dale, they put a notice, or somebody did, on the bulletin board at Francis Marion, and that's where they do some regional professional development. But on that, it says North Carolina license, and so a lot of the people that are in it now didn't even check into it.
Yeah,
And
well,
then a year later, they heard people say, "Oh, but you can, you know."
yeah, we're not allowed to say South
I
Carolina
know.
licensure because we missed our opportunity to get a brick and mortar location in South Carolina. And until you're brick and mortar, you can't advertise yourself. You just have to do North Carolina and then apply, reciprocally for South Carolina. I asked the gentleman who was in charge of that at the time what happened. You know me, if you want to know, you ask. And he said, well, and he went into about a 30-minute. And so I said, just let me kind of summarize here. You just didn't follow through with the paperwork. Well, yeah, kind of. I guess that was in the end. That was it. And I was like, I'll just take you out back and whip you. He just But he was notorious about never answering his emails or following up on anything you'd send him, and paperwork just went to die on his desk, and he just never bothered. And then he took a leave of absence, and the day he was to come back, he resigned. So yeah, he was. We was going to give him Employee of the Month, but he resigned. He hadn't worked in 6 months. Yeah, and that's absolutely a true story as to why it has to say North Carolina licensure only. And
Right.
we had a place offered to us in Greenville, South Carolina, that's that consortium where you don't have to pay a whole lot of money because it's a common space used by several universities. And we were invited, and all we had to do was sign the agreement. The rent wasn't that high, but he just didn't bother to get around to it. He was too busy with other things that didn't have anything to do with what he was supposed to be doing. So, but that's the sad but true tale. And so we missed that opportunity. Somebody else took our spot there, and we don't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of, and so we can't afford to go and rent one.
Right.
That's where we are right now. And so that has hurt us.
Oh, yeah.
In South Carolina. And especially when if your recruiter doesn't go and recruit, it hurts you even more. And so this spring, we only got 18 people from South Carolina, which is
I have 14 of them.
That's about 70 less than we would normally get from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're all clustered. They did one flyer drop down in the, I guess, Myrtle Beach, Florence area. They just dropped flyers. They didn't even, and that's on the ones we got. And then we got 4 in the upstate. That's why I said I took them. They were legacies, 2 in Blacksburg and 1 in Inman at the elementary across the street from the intermediate where we've got 2 already. So we by word of mouth, we got 4 in the upstate. The other 14 came from the flyer drop down in, and that was the only thing. They did 1 flyer drop, and that was it. They didn't do any visits. And they, you wonder why your numbers are down. Well, if you don't go and recruit, you don't get people.
And these places are out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's nothing around.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything west of. In North Carolina, we only did like the I-95 corridor. We didn't even do Raleigh or Charlotte, or certainly we didn't do Asheville. And so, what has happened is they've gotten them involved in some doctoral recruiting, and they have a budget. They're going to make X number of visits, and so they shifted to that. But we were able to make some doctoral cohorts because they were about to go out of business. We didn't make one on main campus, nor did we make one in Charlotte, but we made one in Greensboro and one in Taylorsville. But we recruited those on our own, so I don't really know what good they did us this time. But so, I will say Dr. Bull is on that.
Yeah.
And the president is well aware also that they may not be doing the best that they can do anymore. So I think the candidates are still out there. We're just not recruiting them. So, and that leads to why the numbers are down. And then, the bad news for the evening is we may be looking at doubling up classes this summer in order to try to save more money. They're talking about blowing the class sizes up to 20 and 25 this summer. And of course, with 20% overage, that means you could have 25 and 30 in classes. So we'll probably start collapsing a bunch of sections. Dr. Bull has got an appointment with the president to talk about that one and to try to get some relief on that. But I'll just caution you, we may have half the number of sections that we have this summer, if they can collapse. As you know, the money is getting closer to running out. And they don't really have a plan yet, other than we hope it gets better. Well, hope's not a plan. And so I don't know that they're going to do anything on the undergraduate side. We're going to ride this ship down, I guess. But I can't see anything of any significance happening on the undergraduate side other than, 53 students dropped out at mid-year from of the 400 that came in the fall. They lost 53 at Christmas, which is not good. I didn't have to say that. That's editorializing. But so we'll see what happens with them. I'm hoping they'll get their house in order soon so that we can return back to somewhat normal. But that's what's going on. Main thing tonight I wanted to cover is, let me do my share right quick. I should have it up on the screen here. Yeah. Make sure that we know wherever, these are all the classes that we have this spring. Make sure that we've got the right people coaching before the money goes out. And so Stedman's 2 are coached by Rivas, Crawford's by Hamilton, Hamilton by Crawford, Rivas by Stedman. And then you can see Barnes, Sumner, Whitner, Zantz, Lamb, Tobias, and Massengill, Zantz, Whitaker, Sumner by Barnes, Sanders, Barnes, and Sumner, and then Bullis for Stone. And then the evaluators stayed the same. And on the new ones, Barbara's doing both of Danny's sections. Mark Robertson's doing Jamal's. Phyllis is doing Robbins, and Rod is doing Rivas. So those are the ones we've got. And then, of course, Steve Marie does all of our regular masters. I got a 603 in today. It was from Karen and Lisa, their section. It was great. We need to start, Danny and everybody else's sections and 601 add-on are going to start coming in the next week or so. So we need to keep an eye on those.
Dale, mine will start probably by this weekend. Some of them will start. Now,
I said that to say this. Now, Seth just sent me an email and says that TaskStream has got it fixed. I'm not going to say that. What the problem has been, when you go in to evaluate on the new ones, both the add-ons and the regular, the spring 2020 people, regular and add-on, when you go in and try to add them to your automatic button that says evaluation required, it won't add them, and so I've been having to go to those, just manually go in and check those to see what's been submitted. So let me walk you through that right quick. Let's see. Barbara's with us. Phyllis said she'd watch it, and I'm sure Rod will watch. He's normally with us, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you go, hopefully this thing will pop up here. Let's see. www.taskstream. When you go to TaskStream, and you have to go in and do it this way so I can show you what the problem is. Let me do it. Let me change that over. Move that over to the side. Let me do my login. All right, so when I go in, it tells me what programs. Let me sign in. When I hit my evaluator tab, needs evaluation. Evaluation required. I'm on the evaluator tab. Now, he's cleared everything out, and so now I see these two are on there. Let me see. Let me select all programs, and let me take some of these off that I don't want. Take these EDLSs off. EDCI, got to have those. EDLS. Now, these last two, the spring admin and the spring regular, let me see if it will let me add them to my automatic evaluation now. So, yep. So there they are. So that did get fixed this afternoon. So we've got our first 601 add-on came in from Kayla Bearden this afternoon at 3:45. And then there's another OMA that came in. So if you select the new programs, they should load for you. So all you have to do if you're evaluating is hit the evaluation required button, and it should take you to the new ones as well as any of the old ones that you have. That's just gotten fixed in the last hour or so. That was not that way earlier in the afternoon, and I went down and met with Seth again. So you should be able to evaluate. All of them should be available for evaluation now.
And Barbara Kayla is my student. I approved her today for task stream.
So she's ready to go.
And I've got several that are right at that point that by the end of this week, especially in that first group I have.
Yeah. So Karen's group has started.
Dr. Lamb, I have a question. You said you would get an email telling us that they had submitted something. Will we still do that? Is it still set up that way?
It should be.
Okay. Because I haven't gotten anything yet because I checked to make sure I hadn't anything on Kayla.
Let me go in and see who it says her. Okay, let me look at her right quick. I'm gonna hit cancel evaluate later. BEARDEN, cancel evaluation later. Let me see if she's assigned to you. Go back. Let me do this. Let me see. BEARDEN, Bearden. Let's see what it tells me. It is showing as submitted. And let's see. It's not telling me who her evaluator is, though.
Dale, she's from Shelby.
That's not good.
She did a good job for me, though.
If she's from Shelby, we'll just talk louder and wave our hands more. But we'll talk slower. Okay. I don't see who's assigned to be her evaluator. It should be in there though, Barbara. I'm hoping that when you go in and that if you select that DRF, when you hit evaluation and it pops up and just click on all programs, she should show up. If she doesn't, email me and let me know so I can have Seth Hooker to you. So again, when you go in and click on evaluator, evaluation required, it's going to ask you what programs, select all programs. That should get everything that's on the list here. And then when you go in, hit continue, hopefully, move that out of the way, hit continue, hopefully it'll pop her up. But again, he's just only got that fixed. He just sent me an email right before I came online that they got that fixed this afternoon. It was not coming up and it wasn't showing, it wasn't sending the notices. So you should be getting an email. You should get email notification on that.
Whoever's got Chelsea, she's a good student too. We had her last semester.
Yeah. So I think, Barbara, what might have happened with this one, hers was put in before Seth got it fixed. And so maybe now the next one will show up. You'll get the email. But I know at 3:45 it wasn't fixed when she uploaded.
Hers, I did that this morning, Dale.
Yeah. What I mean, hers was uploaded at 3:45.
Okay.
The notification system, it was not working at 3:45. Okay. He emailed me. Let me look and see what time he emailed me that he got it working. Let's see. Right here, 4:07. He didn't get it. He was on the phone with TaskStream, and at 4:07 he said they got it fixed. So she got that one in before they got it fixed. So you wouldn't have gotten a notification on it. Because I recognized when I couldn't upload those that the notification system wasn't working.
Okay, thank you.
So hopefully, and if it's not working on the next one, and I'll be paying attention, we'll have him go back and work on it again. He may have to go back in and reset some things. You notice it took mine was not, The only thing that was selected on mine was just the 2 new programs, and all the other ones had defaulted back off. So you may have to go back in and set that back up again, and we may have to get him involved. Every time task stream goes in, everything defaults back to start. So that's our problem. But hopefully we got that fixed today. I just happened to catch it last night and sent him an email. And so, yeah. So here's all the emails that he's been sending them back and forth today. And so, so hopefully we've got that fixed. So that's kind of what's coming up. Classes may be collapsed for summer. The evaluators, you should start getting work. I don't know who that 603 one is. I don't know who's set to evaluate that one, but I'm sure that's probably one of Karen's. Hers are starting to hit as well. So it's on now. Task stream's getting cranked up. All these students, the work's starting to come in. I'm very pleased with the pacing. I'll go ahead and say I sent Karen and Lisa an email thanking them. I graded the first one that came in from 603 today, and it was wonderful. Did a great job with it. The student who did it did a really good job. And so looks like the work's going well. Danny and I were talking one day recently. I know that by the nature of the recruiting and not recruiting this time, we got a very challenging group. They're almost bimodal. But I know it takes a little extra with them, but I'm sure that we'll get it. It just takes a little longer, a few more sessions. And so, that what's important is that they get it. We took their money. So we need to provide the service. And so we don't always get the easiest ones, and their mama sent the best ones they had. So it's our job to work with them. All right. So that's pretty much everything I had. So I guess I'll open it up for questions. I'm glad to see Doug and Jackie Tobias. They're working with me this semester. It's a miracle that they're still with us after having to put up with me for the last 6 weeks. I'd already quit if it'd been me. Y'all are tougher than I am. But our classes are going really well. I mean, ours seem to. We had a really good night Wednesday night. Our first case study, it went really well. I was very pleased with it. Students seem to be engaged. They're on pace with their work. So y'all did a good job with them. I said that not to tell you how wonderful we are. Y'all did a really good job with them in 601. So I'm appreciative of that. So they're doing really well. They don't ask very many dumb questions. They seem to know what's going on. So I'm very pleased. So does anybody else have anything else they want for the good of the group tonight?
Dale, I want to remind everybody that they received an email probably from me inviting them to the March 17th, 7 p.m. Site supervisors meeting. Mm-hmm. That's purely optional, and it'll be a short meeting where we try to answer any questions that those site supervisors in the buildings may have. So if you are one of our CC1 coaches, if you can join in would be awesome, but it's truly optional and shouldn't last that long.
Yeah.
That's our class night at 7 o'clock, so I know we can't.
Yeah, but
what time is that? What time is the class?
The Zoom session's at 7.
7 o'clock on Tuesday night. As you folks that have been around a while remember, every year we have to do a collaborative partners meetings, and so we do the site supervisors. That's a CAPE requirement. Last spring we did it as part of CAPE, and the spring before we did one of these, and so it's that time of year to do our site supervisors again. It usually goes really quick because y'all have done such a good job when you've gone out and done your visits. We wait until all the visits are made because the new ones would be the most likely to have questions. And so we wait until after, March until all the visits have been made with the new ones. And we get a few questions from time to time, but mostly y'all have done such a good job when you go out and meet with them. They don't really have a lot of questions. sometimes they just come on to say, that they enjoy their intern. And it's going well, but that's part of that requirement for one of the CAPE standards, whichever one it is for, or whatever, that we're required to do this. But it's a good thing to do, whether it's required or not. It gives them a chance for feedback. And those of you who've had interns, you know that sometimes that's a good thing. So I don't have anything else tonight. I don't want to take any of your time. I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate what you do for our students. As I said, times are a little tough right now. But we'll get through this, and things will kind of return back to normal one of these days, hopefully. But it's just a little crunch right now. So I know that it's, just like Dr. Sanders, I know she's way overloaded. She's got 4 classes and they're paying her for 2. I mean, that's just how it's going right now. So hopefully we'll get through that and muddle through some of these class collapses and large numbers, and hopefully by fall we'll be back toward normal. So if nobody else has anything else, we finished 7 minutes early. A miracle. It's a miracle. I'll see y'all all in 2 weeks. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.